guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled "My Cousin is Dumb and My Dog Knows It." So, yesterday, I believe, I made a post here about a stupid Karen, but I never thought I would come back so fast to tell you how stupid my cousin is. Like, I still can't believe what happened, and I am not sure if I want to laugh or kill him. Spoiler. You will believe I am lying, because I wouldn't believe this myself if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. So, I won't be mad at anyone for calling me a liar or a troll. Now, let's go to what happened. I have two beautiful dogs, a Labrador Retriever, I believe that's the correct name, and a Majorca Shepherd, both female. My cousin has no pets, but he wanted to do a TikTok thing where you pretend to die in front of the dog and see the reaction, so he came to my house just to do that, without even telling me first. It kind of tilted me because it's Friday and I had plans with my boyfriend. We will go out a bit later. Also, the dogs were resting after a long walk, so I didn't want him to disturb them too much. But he felt entitled to it, because he has never had pets. I have never done nothing for him. I am a terrible cousin if I don't let him do this. It will take only 5 minutes, blah blah. Well, the Labrador did nothing, kept sleeping while he pretended to be dead. He got mad and yelled at the dog for a second video, so she would stop ignoring him. I got mad and told him to leave her alone. Next, he tried with the shepherd, and oh my god. I am so proud of her. Sorry. I know it sounds terrible of me. My girl went near him, sniffed his face a bit, walked around a bit, got on top of him and took a crap on his back. I promise I am not lying. I admit that I was a bad person, but I saw that the dog was starting to get in position to take a crap and said nothing because I wanted to laugh. I know, but I was mad and wanted to laugh. Sorry, but not sorry actually. So, he didn't realize at first, until he smelled it. The screams. He jumped super fast and tried to kick my girl. No way. He started insulting me, saying that I lied about taking them on a walk. Otherwise the dog wouldn't have crap anymore. That I did it on purpose. Many more words I won't say, but my BF kicked him out. No one touches our girls like that. He is not welcome anymore. He stayed 5 minutes in the door yelling that we should clean his jacket, while we were cleaning the crap that fell on the floor and cuddling with the shepherd to calm her. I know I acted wrong, but it was funny, and my doggy is doing okay, sleeping with her sis. No, they are not blood-related, of course. I am now expecting for my aunt to call me or come here. But I will go take a shower, get ready and leave. Sorry the story is not more exciting, but the laughter I had, but I feel bad for my girl. I didn't expect him to react like that. And no, he didn't reach her. My BF stopped him before he could hurt her. And in case you wonder, they are trained to go out in the garden if they need to pee or take a crap. It makes it even better. The next story is titled "Elderly Fellow Tenant Demands My Pay Card." Background. I have EBT, also known as SNAP, or food stamps, because I am disabled. Back in 2017, when I moved into an apartment building in town, I'm walking back from a drugstore, think Rite Aid, or CVS. This lady, a tenant of the same building, stops me and starts giving me this sob story about how her oldest son just died, and he was the one buying her groceries, and she has not eaten in 3 days. Now, she looked to be in her early 80s, and while it looked like a stiff breeze could tip her, she did not look malnourished. Anyways, I did feel bad, and I'm a sucker, so I offered to walk with her to the drugstore. They carried frozen food and snacks, or for her to give me a short shopping list. No problem. I think to myself, I can just eat smaller portions for a month. Clearly, it was a big problem for her. She starts declining my offers, and keeps asking for me to give her my EBT card and PIN. "I can go with you," is met with, "No. I like to be independent. Give me your card?" "If you give me a list," is met with, "This is the only time I leave my apartment. Give me your card?" "I am not giving you my card," is met with, word for word, a repeat of her whole spiel. About how she's starving and needs food and her children are dead. Now, I'm gullible and giving. Well, I used to be, but I'm not giving someone who stopped me in the street my sole means to afford food every month. She follows me back towards the apartment building, wailing about how she needs food so badly, only to stop following when we actually get to the parking lot. A week later, a different fellow tenant is meeting us. Made cookies to welcome me and my roommate. Nice lady. I mentioned the crazy lady demanding my EBT card, and this tenant, without even blinking, replies with, "She tries that with every new tenant. Half the building has restraining orders against her, because she demands debit and credit cards from everyone. She has not been removed because she's in her 80s and her kids won't talk to her. Neither one of them is dead." I can't imagine what it would have been like, growing up under a woman like that. The next story is titled, "Would I be the a-hole if I tow a guy's car from my parking spot?" Well, my university is in a city around 50 kilometers away from my home. I have a good road connection and I don't mind driving every day. I rented a room for me near my university, just for emergencies if I don't want to drive back. Probably more because I'm crap-faced, but let's say emergencies. I have this room around 6 weeks now, but I am rarely there. Last week I wanted to go out in the evening, so I wanted to park my car, but my spot was taken. I had to park on the street but saw the owner of the car exiting it the next day. When I asked him, he got defensive and said because I am rarely there, he can use the parking spot. I did not want to escalate this, so I just told him to park his turd on his spot. Well, I checked almost every day now and the car is still parked there. I also gave notice to the building manager. She told me she talked to him, but he didn't show any sign that he would stop parking there. Yesterday, when I wanted to go out for Halloween, it was still there, so I parked my car in front of his. He really did not like that, and because the both of us were pretty drunk, it got really heated. My question is, would I be an a-hole if I tow his car just outside the property and maybe have it put in an absolutely no parking zone or have it block a street? Small update. Not sure if I should post this here or create a new post. My building manager gave me the written authorization to call a tow truck in my name. Went to the flat this evening, little man's car was there. Towed his car. Let's see what tomorrow will bring. Comment said, "Not the a-hole for having it towed. It's your spot whether you are there 24/7 or once a year. However, no tow company is going to purposely put the car in a no parking zone or across a street. Just call a tow company and have them remove his vehicle and move on." Another comment said, "Not the a-hole, you tried to be reasonable and neighborly." He proceeded to be a huge d-bag. Tow drivers generally won't move a car to a different spot, unless it's your car or for the city to do work in that spot. But, having to go fetch his car out of a tow yard, and that expense, may enlighten him to the consequences of parking in someone else's spot. The next story is titled, "Can't Get My Car Back from a Company Car Park? Enjoy loads of taxi fare charges. Plus extra petty revenge from my boss." This anecdote takes place several years ago, at a company I used to work for. This particular company had a staff entrance at the side of the building, where the staff used to enter, exit, and there was a works car park there too. There was also a very posh entrance at the front of the building, which was reserved for the directors and any customers that visited. It was known that if any staff tried to use the front entrance, we called it the exec entrance, they'd normally get told off for overstepping their rank. Yes, some companies are still this backwards even in the mid-2010s. Anyway, this starts on one particular morning, where a customer I'd been working with was visiting our building. My boss's boss not only gave me free rein to come and go through the main entrance to facilitate our customer, e.g., people arriving at different times, taking them for lunch, doing a tour of the building, etc., but he also authorized a parking space for me in the posh exec car park. This was signed off by one of the directors. No issues, we had a great day, and the customer was very impressed. Edit. All cars parked in the exec car park had their keys kept by reception. I assume because mine was a Nissan Key and not the posh BMWs and Audis, etc. They weren't too bothered on keeping an eye on it. Edit. Feeling like I'd done a good day's work, I went back to get my car from the posh part of the building. Living in England, the rain had picked up, so I was looking forward to getting out of the bad weather. Being selfish, I had my hair done quite nicely and it'd be nice to come back home, looking presentable. What I didn't know, was that after 5 p.m., the posh entrance was closed. There's a secure gate to stop vehicles going in, out, and unfortunately my car was parked in the secure part. To make things worse, I'd left my car keys with the receptionist, who'd already finished for the day. This was when I learned that we worked hard so the directors didn't have to. This takes place before taxi apps were commonplace, so I was stood in the rain for about half an hour waiting for an overpriced taxi from the nearby railway station, getting more and more frustrated that I couldn't go home in my own car. So, I ended up sat in a taxi, very annoyed, hair and makeup ruined, staring at a bill for £50 just to get home. Let alone the trip back to work the next day, which costs slightly more due to rush hour traffic. When I went to grab my car keys the next day, I walked through the exec entrance. Within seconds, I was asked why I was entering through this door. I said, "Morning all. You've got my keys. My car's parked there. Look, it's the blue car in space #6 inches and I expected just to get given my keys and told to go away." However, what I was told was no, sorry. This is an executive entrance. Please exit the building and use the staff entrance round the corner. I politely said, "Look, my car's parked just outside. You have my keys in that box by your arm that you're pointing with. Can you just give me my keys so I can leave and take my car with me?" Well, this didn't happen. The person behind the desk was so proud that they had some power over others, that I was just told, "Only senior employees and customers are permitted here. Please use the side door. You are not authorized to use this entrance. Please do not try and enter again, otherwise you will be written up." I wasn't rude, but I realized being written up wouldn't be of any favor to me. I also got annoyed that I'd put the effort in earlier, so I wouldn't fight what could be construed as a disciplinary threat. The last thing I asked was that I had this written in a formal email, which the angry secretary was more than happy to do so, including phrases like, "gross misconduct," and, "a serious lack of respect." Not only did I save this email to every folder in my mailbox, but I also printed it a few times and stored it in various places around where I worked, just so I could get a hold of it if needed. Petty revenge activated. Shortly after this, I told my boss that the senior team wouldn't let me get my car back and threatened to write me up for asking so. He was 100% behind me. He said, "If the company's holding your car, get taxis everywhere. Your commute, going to get lunch, your gym session in the evening, etc." So that's what I did. I left my car in the executive car park and just took cabs everywhere, basically my personal life. I took lunch out of the office every day. I went grocery shopping as I normally do, twice a week, plus 1 or 2 times for quick visits when I forgot something. Going to the gym. Visiting my parents. Nights out with my BF. I purposely left my car in that car park as long as I could, until I got asked about it. All the time, racking up taxi fares. I had it in writing from my manager, and since neither of us were exec level, we didn't want to push back. Rather, I just wanted to see how far I could push it. After 7 weeks, one of the directors had noticed my car looking very sorry for itself in their car park. At least one customer had asked why there was an abandoned car there, with bird poo all over it and a flat tire. We have car park passes, so it only took a few seconds to ask which employee car pass number 12,345 belonged to. And when I was asked, I forwarded the email saying I wasn't allowed to get my car back. I then asked if I could get half an hour with the legal director, as I wasn't sure if this was illegal, preventing an employee from retrieving their own car. As soon as I mentioned the legal director, I was asked to come straight in via the posh entrance and speak to a few of the directors who'd somehow made the time for me. Literally, I sent my email at 11 a.m. and by the time I'd got back from lunch, in a taxi, at 1 p.m., I had an email requesting a chat ASAP. They were quite nervously sat around a table, and as soon as I mentioned the potential legal issue of withholding an employee's personal possessions without due reason, the directors fell over themselves to apologize and say it was a miscommunication and I was free to take my car back. I asked why it took 7 weeks to get to this point, and I'd wanted my car back as soon as I could because, well, it's my car. The directors had no answer and were surprisingly very quiet. Well, that's where it gets fun. I presented a bill for about £3,000 of taxi fares over 7 weeks and said that this needed paying. Furthermore, as my car now had a flat battery and looked awful, the company could also pay for recovery to my car dealership, pay for car detailing because of the bird poo all over it, and a full dealership service and health check, plus 2 months finance that I was paying on the car that they had in their possession. I also told them that I would no longer entertain any customers going forward and pulled out the printout that I was supposed to be able to park there and entertain customers as necessary, signed by one of the directors in that very room. The atmosphere was not only tense enough that you could cut it with a butter knife, but I felt a resounding feeling of deflation from the directors, who'd realized they'd ducked up by asking employees to do their work for them, e.g., showing customers around, and then doubling down by kicking those employees out of their little corner before the job was complete. All in all, I wouldn't be surprised if it cost the company over £6,000 just because I wasn't allowed to go and get my car back from the manager's parking because a secretary didn't let me. I also heard on the grapevine that as I declined to carry out any customer hospitality visits, this particular customer wasn't impressed that their previous friendly, knowledgeable folks were no longer available. My boss, who'd supported me all the way, had stood behind me and said that his team would no longer carry out any customer visits either. Our customers weren't amused when the directors took them to golf and posh dinners but made no commitments or shared any information on the work we'd been doing with them. They didn't renew their 7-figure contract. I'm not sure if I was just told that to make me feel better or not, but either way, smiles all round for me. My little car is still going strong, I'm in a much better place, and whenever I drive past that company's buildings, I give them a salute. I'll let you guess how many fingers I use. A little addendum that I heard a bit later. When my boss went to go and see the angry secretary, presumably to try and cool things down, she also told him to get out. He was told no, but then he asked if she could swipe him through the side entrance, which was an all-employee corridor. She said no, go back outside. As mentioned, this is England. It was pouring with rain. He was wearing a suit as he was seeing a customer later, because I said I wasn't doing it. No matter, she stood by saying no. So, he asked for an umbrella. Was told to get out unless he wanted written up too. He doesn't take bullcrap anywhere near as much as I do. He's got nearly 40 years in the company, and they know they can't lose him. He used his very expensive laptop as an umbrella instead, got back to his desk with a completely dead machine, and then billed the further £3,000 for a new machine to the secretary's company code. He made sure her name was on the bill. Fast forward 3 months and for some reason, the directors were down one angry secretary. I can't imagine why. The next story is titled Guest Given Everything But It's Not Enough. Had a gentleman check-in yesterday, he called to request early check-in. Of course sir, we can do that. Guest checks in several hours after regular check-in time. Guest shows up with a dog, no prior mention of there being an animal. No worries, we move his res to a pet-friendly room and add the pet fee to his stay. He also requests late checkout. Absolutely sir, no worries, I'll give you an extra 2 hours, will that do? He grunts an affirmative. At this point, I'd like to point out, he is a rewards member, and is staying fully on points. Anyway, cut to today, and he comes to check out, half an hour before checkout time. I'm leaving, and I'm not happy. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that sir. What seems to be the issue? All the noise from the work you guys are having done is disturbing me too much to stay. I find this highly inconvenient, and I want the pet fee refunded, and you to compensate me with 10,000 points for the trouble. Folks, his room is halfway down the building, and we're not exactly a small building. But more importantly, the work that's disturbing him. We're painting. And it's not fumes, he specifically complained about the noise. Anyway, I wanted to give him nothing, but was going to reverse the pet fee just as a gesture. But our door decided, no, give him the points too. We're probably gonna get some bad reviews about the painting anyway, let's at least try to keep his away. So, what would you guys have done? If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.